numbers heading in the wrong direction.
But growing numbers say she's not honest.
Everything that she's about right now is a turnoff.
An avalanche of bad stories.
Favorability is falling.
Is trying to position herself as the champion of everyday Americans.
I will be your leader. She hasn't driven herself in her own vehicle in 20 years. 1996.
It's a disconnect with normal everyday people.
$25 million in paid speeches.
Go to the end of the line.
Who gets to hold her crown while she speaks?
Act like she's allergic to real people.
I love it. I love go to the end of the line. I told you, go to the end of the line. Raffi Williams, RNC Deputy Press Secretary, joins us. He's the Press Secretary for Youth and Conservative Media. Raffi, welcome back. Tomorrow, you're going to have, I think tomorrow you're going to have all the Clintons, and it's so lovely. And I'm sure, I predict, the baby will be up there with them. You're going to have all the Clintons up on stage together for the first time, and I forget what they said, how long it's going to be, because she's relaunching her campaign. Now, is she going to be able to overcome the horrific launch that she's already had?
I mean, this is going to work just about as well as her Russian reset did. This is going to be a terrible launch here. She's going to give a rehash speech that she gave in 2007 where she talked about her mother. She's going to do the same speech again out there. We're going to hear retread old ideas that don't really invigorate the conversation. And she's sitting here trying to get coronated, not run for leader of the free world here. So this is just going to be another rehash of the same stuff we've seen from Clinton the past 2 months, the past 30 years.
I mean, if it weren't so frightening, it would be so darn comical. She wants to be the champion of the average person financially, and even if you put the financially aside, she is the antithesis of the average person.
I mean, really, it's sad. I mean, you go for one to the income, right? In Ohio, for instance, an average household over 18 months, it would take them over 300 households to make the 30 million the Clintons made in the last 18 months. So that's just on the financial part. But then on feeling connected with what real Americans go through, their struggle, she was surprised that small businesses are still struggling from the recession. I don't know how anybody in America that lives, works here, is surprised that small businesses are struggling due to the recession still and this Obama economy, which she supported. I mean, this is really just something that's so far out-fetched, but that's why Bernie Sanders is gaining steam, because he actually gets it a little more than Clinton does, because he actually talks to real people.
Well, he does do that. That's absolutely for sure. How do you think that the people are going to react? The polls have shown, whether you go back from a few years ago to now, or even from a few months ago to now, her trustworthiness is in the toilet. Her approval ratings are way down. So everything she's done, or should I rephrase that, nothing she's done is working. So what could she possibly do all of a sudden to change that?
Well, I'm not sure there's really much. Remember, Clinton is a terrible campaigner. She is not relatable to voters. She's not warm and friendly. She doesn't, she can't pull those Obama-style speeches. She's not a great speech giver, especially at these rallies. It really appears she's not good at delivering applause lines, so she's really going to struggle. Her whole campaign is built around this inevitability. That's what took her down in the 2008 election, though, and I think it's going to happen to her again this time.
I heard one of her campaign spokespeople just a little while ago trying to answer a question that Ari Fleischer, former press secretary to George W. Bush, put forth on this show at the beginning of the show. And he asked, where was Hillary on this trade deal, for instance? Because it's divided the Democratic Party, obviously. Obama went to Capitol Hill to try to get Democratic votes. It didn't pass with Democratic votes. So it's divided the party. And Hillary hasn't said boo about it. And his spokesperson, she wouldn't, Jake Tapper was really frustrated with her on CNN because she wouldn't commit or answer either. How could Hillary just get away with staying silent on a major issue like this?
It's her playbook. It's that inevitability playbook. She's not actually going to try to have a conversation with you. She's going to dictate what the world should do. And that's a troubling thing we have to understand here. That's why Americans don't trust her. Her reluctance to answer questions, her reluctance to enter into a conversation. Think about her friends, like Sidney Blumenthal. This is one where, when asked about it, she goes, I have lots of friends. I keep old friends around. Well, that's not, she's got donations to the Clinton Foundation, Blumenthal running secret intel over in Libya. There's a lot of things that go around here, and she won't explain it to anybody and thinks they're just going to magically disappear. But our job here at the Republican Party is to hold her feet to the fire and demand that she answers these questions that every voter wants to know about.
And just getting to the media one more time, I mean, some say they've been kind of hard on her, and to an extent, comparatively speaking, they have. However, one of the donors to the Clinton Foundation was this African church that demonizes gays. And yet I heard Ben Carson get raked over the coals by Breonna Keeler on CNN the other day because she asked him 100 times, and he answered her 100 times, do you think gays are discriminated against? Do you think gays are discriminated against? Why won't you answer me? Why won't you answer me? He did answer her in his own way, but imagine if a Republican candidate took a campaign donation from a church here that was even against gay marriage. They'd have to answer to that, but Hillary still skates on so many issues.
Well, you highlight that point, and then you talk about the foundation donors from places like Qatar, from Algeria. They have poor records with women's rights, yet she's out there pretending to be a champion of women's rights. She paid people in her Senate office, she paid women less than she paid men, yet she's for equal rights. It's hypocritical, the whole thing. It
is the epitome of hypocrisy, Mr. Williams. Absolutely. Raffi, thank you. Have a great weekend, sir. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Steve. Have a great weekend.
Take care. All right, the Malzberg panel is next, folks, and we'll touch on all these topics. But first, we want your feedback. Let us know what you think of today's show and the discussion I just had with Raffi Williams or anything else we've talked about on the show. We want to hear from you. So here's what you do. You log on to newsmaxtv.com/comments, newsmaxtv.com/comments, and let us know. We want to hear from you, and you will have your voice heard. The panel's next.